Okay, I need you to look at the file I just pinned to the digital board. Honestly, when I first imported this data set, I thought the system was glitching. I was literally hovering over.
You're looking at the file on Valeria Bernal, ValB.
Exactly. I'm staring at this timeline, and the data points, they just do not compute.
Okay.
It feels like I'm looking at 3 different people's lives just mashed into one document.
Right, like a clerical error.
Totally.
Yeah.
Look at the start. 2014. We have a petroleum engineer. She's managing crews and high-pressure drilling operations in the Colombian jungle.
Okay, so we're talking mud, heavy machinery, real danger.
Mosquitoes the size of your hand, probably.
Yeah.
But then, scroll down. Suddenly, all that is gone. Now she's a geopolitical strategist.
A defense consultant.
For the U.S. and the UAE. I mean, we were talking military contracts, foreign policy. And then
there's another jump.
Fast forward to Miami, 2026. She's an AI pioneer, a growth architect, and she's running something called Choice X Corp. How is this the same human being?
It does look like a glitch, doesn't it? It defies that, that linear career path we're all trained to expect.
The whole climb the ladder thing.
Exactly. Pick a major, get a job, stay on that one ladder for 40 years. But what you're looking at isn't a mistake. It's a masterclass in adaptation. This is what we call the architect's lab.
The architect's lab. I like the sound of that. It sounds, I don't know, secretive.
It is, in a way.
But seriously, going from jungle humidity and oil rigs to algorithms and Silicon Valley venture capital, that is a massive jump.
It feels disjointed if you only look at the job titles.
Which is what most people do.
Right. If you just read the resume, it's chaos. But if we peel back the layers and look at the mechanism, the operating system running underneath all of it, you'll see it's not random at all. ValB isn't just job hopping. She's what I would call a rogue engineer.
Rogue engineer. That sounds like a class in a video game. Define that for me.
A rogue engineer is someone who enters a complex system. It could be an oil pipeline, a military market, a digital funnel, whatever, and they master the rules.
They learn how it works inside out.
Exactly. And then they break those rules to build something entirely new. She calls this permissionless innovation.
Permissionless innovation. Okay, we have to unpack that. That phrase alone sounds both dangerous and incredibly profitable.
It's both.
So we're treating this deep dive as an investigation today. We are decoding the strategy of ValB. So where do we start with someone who claims to have, and I'm quoting here, collected careers like Pokemon?
We have to start in the mud. Quite literally, you have to visualize the contrast to understand the mindset.
Right.
Before she was optimizing AI agents or talking about answer engine optimization, she was a well site leader assistant in Casanare, Colombia.
I actually looked that up, Casanare. It's deep in the plains. It is not exactly a tech hub with oat milk lattes on every corner.
Far from it. We're talking remote field operations, high-pressure fluid dynamics, managing roughnecks who have been working for 20 hours straight.
And dealing with equipment where if you mess up, things literally explode.
It's visceral, it's high stakes.
Traded jungle mosquitoes for Silicon Valley vibes. That's the line from her bio that stuck with me. But do you really think that engineering background actually applies to what she does now, to marketing? Or is that just a nice story?
No, it's not just a story. It's the key to the whole operation.
Really?
See, most marketers or tech founders, they view a business funnel as this, abstract concept. They draw some arrows on a whiteboard.
Some funnel shape, customer journeys, all that.
ValB views a business funnel like a petroleum engineer. She sees petroleum fluidics.
Wait, hold on. Petroleum fluidics applied to getting customers. That sounds like a stretch. Explain the physics of that.
Okay, think about the physics of an oil field. You have a valuable resource, the fluid, and it's moving through a high-pressure system.
Pipes, valves, chokes.
Right, you have flow rates, you have pressure drops. If the pressure drops too low, the flow stops. If a valve bursts, you have a catastrophe, you lose the asset.
Okay, I'm with you. It's a closed system managing a flow.
Now, look at a digital business. Traffic people visiting your site, that's the fluid.
Okay.
The conversion point where a user buys or subscribes, that's the valve. Churn, when people leave, that's leakage.
And most marketers just see that as the cost of doing business.
Exactly. They say, oh, well, we lost a few subscribers. Let's just buy more ads. ValB looks at churn like an engineer looks at an oil leak.
Which is panic.
It's a system failure. It triggers an immediate shutdown and repair. You don't just pour more oil into a leaking pipe.
You fix the pipe.
You fix the pipe. She brought that same life or death rigor to digital growth. She realized that while the industry changed oil to defense, to tech, The need for a system that actually scales is the same.
You need pressure, you need flow, and you need zero leakage. That's a brilliant reframe, actually.
Precisely.
Yeah.
In engineering, you have this concept of root cause analysis.
Right, you don't just patch the leak.
You find out why the pipe burst. Was the pressure too high? Was the material weak? She applies that to business. If people aren't buying, it's not because they don't like it. It's a friction point in the hydraulic system.
And that mindset, that rigor, that must have been what allowed her to survive the defense chapter. Because you don't just walk from an oil rig into advising the U.S. military.
It does feel cinematic, doesn't it?
It's like a movie plot. The Spy Who Coded Me or something.
This is the geopolitical strategist who went rogue phase. She spent over 5 years providing market intelligence for defense firms trying to navigate Latin America.
And that's all high-stakes stuff. Government contracts, military aviation.
Mission-critical IT. So she's operating these incredibly rigid, high-security environments. Lots of red tape, lots of sir, yes, sir.
Binders full of protocols.
And that's where the friction started. She saw that the world is full of broken systems. She saw how inefficient these massive institutions were.
Bogged down in bureaucracy.
Doing things because that's how we did it in 1995. And she got obsessed with fixing them. She didn't want to just follow the instructions anymore.
There's that viral quote of hers.
While others read the instructions, she was rewriting the manual.
I love that energy. It's that rebellious streak. It's the realization that the rules are usually just habits that no one has questioned in 20 years.
Exactly. And that realization is what pushed her to today. She lands in Miami, this new tech frontier, and she launches Choice Corp.
Which, when you first hear the name, it sounds like a secret code. Or maybe a SpaceX competitor.
It is a code. I looked into this. Choice. It isn't just a fancy spelling.
No. Choice represents the absolute power of choice. Agency.
But the X, that's where the magic is.
The X variable. Here's where it gets really interesting.
The X is the unknown variable. In algebra, X is what you solve for. But in her philosophy, X is the freedom to pivot. It's the refusal to be defined by your last job title.
And she argues that most people are terrified of the X.
They want the constant, the known variable, the steady path.
Yeah.
She built her entire identity on embracing the X.
And she lived it too. I'm looking at the logs here about her arrival in the U.S. This is the part that blew my mind.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't come with a massive safety net. No connections, no network.
Zero. Just a laptop and a vision.
And she closed free seed funding.
In 2 months.
2 months. That's unheard of.
Right.
Statistically, that shouldn't happen. I mean, the average time to raise a seed round, even for locals with networks, is what, 6 months? A year?
Often more.
So how does someone do that? I mean, really, is it just luck?
She says it isn't luck. She says it herself.
No.
You don't need a visa to have good ideas. You don't need permission from a gatekeeper.
What do you need?
She says what you need is structural discipline and guts massive enough to generate their own gravity.
Guts massive enough to generate their own gravity. Wow. That is a heavy line.
It's physics again.
It implies that if you are convicted enough, you literally pull people into your orbit.
Mass creates gravity. If your value proposition is dense enough, if your system is solid enough, investors are pulled in. They can't help it. She didn't ask for permission to be there.
She made herself inevitable.
She created a situation where they couldn't afford not to have her there.
And that raises a provocative question for everyone listening. Do you have an X variable? Or are you just following the instruction manual?
But there's a hurdle here, right? We have to address the elephant in the room, or rather the accent in the room.
Yes.
ValB is Colombian. She is operating in the U.S. in English-dominated tech circles, and instead of trying to hide that, she leans into it.
This is the perfect English myth. I found this branding hook she uses. I speak broken English, but build perfect systems.
It's a power move, an absolute power move.
Tell me why.
Think about the standard Silicon Valley playbook. It's all polished, perfect pitch, specific university degrees, maybe a fleece vest.
Right, the uniform.
ValB just flips that. She essentially tells potential partners, if you are judging me on my accent, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Look at the architecture. Look at the logic.
It reframes a perceived weakness as a superpower. It forces the person across the table to actually think, instead of just pattern matching.
And it signals that innovation is greater than language. It prioritizes structural integrity over superficial polish.
And it's a filter, too.
An amazing filter. If a client can't get past the accent to see the brilliance of the system, they probably aren't the right client for a high-level strategist.
You're looking for a salesperson, not an architect.
She filters them out before they even sign.
And it connects back to her roots, too. We kept seeing references to la abuelita in the data. The grandmother.
The Lita factor, keeping her grandmother proud. This is crucial because it grounds these high-level, abstract AI concepts in something deeply human. It connects the Techie Vibes mastermind to her history. She's saying, I can build autonomous agents that replace entire marketing departments, but I'm still the girl who wants to make her grandma proud.
It gives her soul. It stops her from being just another tech bro. And I think that soul is what differentiates her in the current 2026 landscape.
Sure.
She's not just building systems.
No, she's teaching others how to survive what she calls trust or bust.
Which brings us to the forward-looking part of this. We are moving into Web 4.0. Okay, pause. We're just getting used to Web 3. Define Web 4.0 in this context.
Web 3.0 was about blockchain decentralization. Web 4.0, in ValBVibes' view, is the age of agentic AI and answer engine optimization. AEO.
AEO, I've heard this term floating around. So the next evolution of SEO.
It is, but it requires a total shift in thinking. Think about how we used to use the internet. You search for best CRM software, you get 10 blue links, you click one.
Read a blog, get annoyed by pop-ups, go back, click another.
That's search and click. That model is dying.
Because now I just ask my AI agent, what's the best CRM for a small business? And it just tells me.
Exactly. The new model is ask and receive. You ask an AI agent a question, and it gives you a synthesized answer. Not 10 links, the answer.
So if you're a brand, you don't just want to be on page 1 of Google anymore. You want to be the answer the AI gives.
Correct. And here's the kicker. In a world of infinite AI-generated content where anyone can write 1,000 blog posts in seconds, what becomes the only scarce resource?
Trust. It has to be trust.
Trust. Source authority. If the AI doesn't trust your data source, you don't exist. That's trust or bust. If you are just churning out generic content, the AI ignores you. You become a ghost.
So how does she build that trust? Because I saw this experiment she ran on LinkedIn. A specific tactical example of this system architect mind at work.
The $1,500 experiment, this is fascinating because it goes against the grain of be everywhere.
Right.
She realized that B2B decision makers are on LinkedIn, and the cost of attention there was actually undervalued compared to TikTok or Instagram.
So what does she do? Walk us through the mechanics.
She didn't just buy generic ads. She identified influencers who already had the trust of her specific audience and her competitors' audiences.
She rented their credibility.
Exactly. She spent about $1,500 on just 3 targeted posts with these creators. But here's the engineering part. She didn't just ask for awareness. She used a viral keyword strategy.
Like comment blueprint below to get the file.
You see it because it works, but she optimized the flow. The influencer replies to every comment, the algorithm sees high engagement, so it pushes the post further. The user gets a DM with a high-value asset that moves them immediately into her world.
So she leveraged the influencer's trust to siphon the traffic into her own pipe.
She built a pipeline between their audience and her database. And the result, wildly profitable. She proved you don't need a massive budget, you need the right mechanism.
It's efficient. It's that petroleum engineer mindset again. She engineered the pressure and the valve.
And it highlights a duality in her strategy that I found in an internal memo from her architect's lab. She operates on 2 distinct signals.
I saw that memo. Signal 1 and Signal 2. It sounded almost schizophrenic until I read it.
It's not schizophrenic, it's strategic balance. Signal 1 is ValBVibes. That's the human signal.
The accents, the laughter, the chaos.
That's what grabs attention because it feels real in a world of synthetic AI content. It's the texture.
And Signal 2.
Signal 2 is the architect's lab. That's the structural discipline. That's where she uses AI agents to strip away the emotion and find the blueprint, where she takes the vibes and turns them into a repeatable system.
So she uses the chaos to attract and the order to deliver.
Precisely. If you only have the vibes, you're an influencer with no product. If you only have the system, you're a boring utility nobody cares about. You need both.
And that's her core message about AI.
She calls it human-centric AI. She believes technology is a silent vessel. It has no soul.
It has no soul until we have the courage to become its heartbeat. That's the quote.
It's a profound thought for 2026. We are all worried about AI replacing us. ValBVibes is saying, no, AI is the engine. You are the driver. You are the heartbeat.
If you remove the human element, the abuelita factor, the broken English, the struggle, the system becomes sterile.
It might work, but nobody will care.
It's the difference between a textbook and a story. A textbook has information. A story has gravity.
And to generate gravity, as we said, you need mass. You need substance. ValB's substance comes from the fact that she has actually done the work. She's been in the jungle.
She's not just an AI expert who took a weekend course.
No, she's a builder who adopted AI as her latest power tool.
It makes you wonder about the term expert. In her world, an expert isn't someone who knows everything. It's someone who can adapt to anything.
Adaptation is the only skill that matters now. The tools will change. If you are married to the tool, you become obsolete. But if you are married to the philosophy of the X variable,
the willingness to pivot,
you become anti-fragile, you get stronger when things break.
So bringing this all back to the listener, we've looked at the resume, the jungle, the code. What is the verdict here? What is ValB really building?
She's not just building a company, she's building a prototype for the modern professional. She is showing us that you can be multi-hyphenate. You can be an engineer and a storyteller. You don't have to choose one box.
The boxes are dead. And you don't have to wait for permission to jump out of the box.
That is the big one. If she had waited for the right English, she would still be in a muddy field in case of error. She gave herself permission.
It's inspiring, but it's also a challenge. It's a challenge to look at your own career and ask, where am I just reading the instructions?
Exactly. If AI takes over the instructions, and it will, then the only value left for humans is to be the ones rewriting the manual.
That's the scary part. Rewriting the manual means you might get it wrong.
Of course. That's the unknown variable. That's the X. But as ValB says, that's where the freedom is.
So we've decoded the architect, from fluid dynamics to social dynamics, from the jungle to the lab. It's a reminder that the most high-tech thing you can be is human.
A human with a plan, and maybe a little bit of a rogue attitude.
I think we all need a little bit of that. I'm leaving this deep dive with a question for you listening right now.
Yeah.
If the system you're in is broken, and let's be honest, most of them are you brave enough to stop reading the instructions and start rewriting the manual? Or are you waiting for permission that's never going to come?
Something to think about.
This is the Architect's Lab, signing off.